They are courageous, compassionate, brave, determined, and most importantly, they take action. These are individuals we live with, organizations we belong to that are driving positive change, solving society's problems, and dedicated to service. They are the change drivers. So are you a change driver? Connect with us and let your story be heard. Tune in to Change Drivers, where you will meet these phenomenal, ordinary people doing extraordinary things in our communities.
Hi George.
Hi Jen, how are you?
Welcome to Change Drivers.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am very happy to have you here. And one person nominated you to be on this show. Let me just read what they said. Hi Change Drivers. You need to also interview people like George Munengwa, because while everyone else thinks the solution to this nation's problems lies in a political figure, this guy is implementing real solutions and mentoring and coaching others to also see the light. This is the change we want to see. What are your thoughts on this?
Wow, that's very uplifting, and it's good to hear positive feedback like that. And I just believe, what I do to motivate, inspire, provoke, and equip people out there to just see life differently. I believe my story is there to motivate other people out there to understand and know that it's possible, it can be done. And negativity and putting your future in somebody else's hands will never change your own life. So you really need to believe in yourself and be positive about life rather than looking at the negativities.
So do you have fans out there? Who do you think would have sent this to us?
Well, what I do, I started this recording videos with my kids, sometimes alone, because I believe what inspired me to start with the stories of people who went before us in business. And I used to go and watch them, and I saw a lot of videos, international speakers, and once I heard and saw them, it gave so much relevance to my life and what I am currently doing. So I believe Zimbabweans just need somebody who is in Zimbabwe, who can speak positively about what's happening, just to encourage and give people hope that, your life is not determined by other people's opinions of you, politically, religiously, whatever it is, but it's more about what you personally do with your life that determines the outcome that you live.
Okay, so what prompted you to start Pro Air?
Well, Pro Air, I started in 2012, and for me, God blessed me with my amazing twins, and at that time I was earning $300, and things weren't adding up. And
where were you working?
I used to work at a former air conditioning company before I started my own. And when I was there, it's just things weren't adding up, and bills weren't being, there was so much hectic things going on. And I decided to take a huge step of faith. Of course, I was influenced by a mentor, a man of God, who encouraged me to take a step of faith to, start my own business. Pastor Victor Kambasha, he really spoke into my life. He said to me, George, God has a bigger plan for you, but it's not going to happen whilst you're working for somebody else. You need to take a step of faith and start a business. He didn't mention an air conditioning business, but he just said you need to start something. And along that time, I then decided to start what people already knew me doing, which was air conditioning, and we started Pro Air in 2012.
Why air conditioning?
What
you were experiencing?
I had worked in various sectors of the economy. I mean, when I left school, I worked in an internet cafe. I sold clothes.
Oh, you did that?
I did a lot of things. I worked at Wallace Boutique, in a ladies' clothing shop.
Proper Zimbo hustle.
Yeah, and I worked at Zimex Mall hustling. I sold phones. There's a lot of things that I went through, and I worked.
So you were one of those people around Zimex Mall?
Yeah, I love Zimex Mall. My heart really beats for people at Zimex Mall because I feel that they have a uniqueness that they have. A lot of people who've come through Zimex Mall, if you see them today, they are well established. I actually call Zimex Mall a university that actually equips people on life skills that you don't learn at school. So from Zimex Mall, I worked at a motor company called Belgravia Service Center. And from there, then I went to the air conditioning company, where I also worked at the family business called the Paint People, where I sold paint. So I've worked in about 6, 7 different places until I found my love and passion for air conditioning. So for me, when I started air conditioning, it was amazing because where I worked, I loved the fulfillment that people would have after you put an aircon. You can imagine if this studio where we are right now didn't have air conditioning with these bright lights, it would be so hot. But because this studio is definitely air conditioned, it's a good thing that, you know, people can work productively and, you know, people can sleep well. I mean, with air conditioning, it's not a luxury, it's actually a necessity. You need it wherever you are, be it your car, your home, your office, or hospital. So I mean, that's the reason why I fell in love with it. And since then, I've really worked hard on making sure that I make it a success.
So what was the journey like for you on this establishment? Is it easy for someone to just wake up and say, I'm going to start a company and actually run a successful company just like that? What does it take?
You know, being an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. A lot of people think it's easy. You start today and then tomorrow it's going to be established. But you'll find that 7 years down now, since 2012, it's not been an easy road. We've had some serious challenges. I remember when we began, I started thinking to myself, was this the right decision? You know, when I was getting closer to month end and bills were not paid. And I had to, you know, not give up. It's a very painful journey. It's not one that a lot of people will go through because you need to have perseverance, you need to have determination. Not all days are going to be bright. Some months you don't even get a sale. Some months the people who you think are going to support you will not even support you. Your friends, family, the closest people you think are going to be there to assist you actually don't come and support you. You know, you'll go to your brother's house and you'll find, wow, your brother has an aircon, and you wonder, why didn't you buy from me? So there's a lot of that rejection that comes when you start a business. And a lot of your friends, because they are not entrepreneurs, they won't understand your journey. But you really need to be focused. And for me, I was focused. I had my mentor, Pastor Victor Kambasha. I had people surrounding me who were there to really equip me and encourage me on this journey. And since we started, I am only as strong as the people who surrounded me.
Okay.
I didn't surround myself with my friends who were employed or people who were my age. I had to surround myself with mentors, which I think is very important for anybody who wants to start a business. You need to surround yourself with people who are established, people who understand where you're going.
Okay.
You can't get advice about business from somebody who has never done business. They'll tell you their opinion. They'll tell you, Gina, leave this. This is not for you. You know what? Why don't you just stay in employment and get your $300? But on the other side of entrepreneurship, there are a lot more benefits than there are being an employee. So my journey, I really want to acknowledge and appreciate my mentors who've really helped me on this journey. It's not just me who you see being successful, but you're only as strong as the people who you associate with.
All right, and the Zimex experience, has that played a part?
Zimex really taught me the best lessons. I mean, per Zimex small, people will do certain things, a lot of things would happen where, you know, deals would go wrong, you know, and it really taught you the real hustle of after school. A lot of children who are going to school these days have parents who are well off and they think our life is easy after school. And I was privileged to go to a private school, St. George's College. Okay. I failed my O-levels and because I loved soccer so much and I thought I was going to become a soccer player. I even went for trials to Dynamos, Motor Action, all these wanting to play soccer. But when that failed, I had to then, you know, find a source and a means to make it work. And I loved marketing. I did IMM. I actually didn't finish it in the end, but I always loved marketing. And the Zimex experience really equipped me with life lessons that I still use today, because those life lessons have taught me, you know, at Zimex it's a community of people. You need to be very well relationed with the people who are there, because somebody may have a product that you don't have, but you have to be able to go to that person and ask them and then go and supply and do this. So the life lessons I learned at Zimex are very pivotal to the person that I am today.
Okay, so why George Billionaire?
Well, George Billionaire is a self-affirming prophecy which I gave to myself many years ago, because I took a look at the world and I said, you know what, I am a unique creation created by God, and I don't want to become a millionaire. I don't want to become a thousandaire. A lot of people settle for millionaire. And I looked at the statistics, and there were 2,000, in 2018, as we speak right now, there are 2,324 billionaires.
In the world?
In the whole world, okay. Right? And I said to myself, I want to be one of these elite people, which is why I started calling myself George Billionaire. And that alone, I love putting pressure on myself. I remember the first days people used to laugh at me before I had anything. They used to think, billionaire, why? Do you know how many zeros are in a billionaire? And people would laugh. But for me, once you laugh at me, you actually fuel my drive to actually achieve more. So purposely I gave that name so that it would put pressure on me. I don't want to settle at 100,000. I don't want to settle at 1 million. I want to become a very elite person that is known. If you look at the Forbes book, it talks about billionaires. And my favorite song, which has been my ringtone for many years, I Want to Be a Billionaire So Bad by Bruno Mars, is my ringtone, because I need to constantly hear what I want to become. And I like hearing that, and I believe very soon it's going to come to pass. And the next time you'll be interviewing me, you'll be interviewing a real-time US dollar billionaire.
Awesome.
Yeah. I've been in business. People thought I would fail when I started.
Okay.
That's a huge achievement. So for me, success is not determined by monetary value.
Okay.
It's determined by my personal goals and what I have wanted to achieve. And you know, growing up at school, I never used to win any prizes, or because I was born in December, so I would run with children who were over age. So when I was in grade 1, I used to race with grade 2s. So I never used to really win anything. But after I finished school, you know, God has amazing humor, because during the school days, I'd get no prizes. I didn't do well at school. But I believe my life is a success with the awards and accolades that we have got over the years. 7 years, we've got multiple awards. Businessman, top air conditioning company, entrepreneur, a lot to mention. And that for me is a personal success, especially growing up without that much limelight on me. But success to me is not monetary value. Being a billionaire is something that definitely I want to be, because I've got a lot of things that personally I want to do. And I believe money plays a pivotal role if I'm going to make a positive impact to the world. It's not money personally for me or my family, but I have a bigger vision to really want to impact the whole world at large. Growing up, a lot of people may have been told, you'll never make it, you're too young, you're unqualified. And when they hear from somebody who's been told that, like me, where when I began the business, some of family members thought I would not make it. But if you look at me now, I went against the odds because of what people I surrounded myself with and people who encouraged me. So I want to be a voice where people out there can actually hear, believe, and actually be equipped to say, wow, that's an amazing story. That's from somebody who we can relate with. It's not somebody far away. We've heard successful stories from people outside Zimbabwe, Africa, not in this economy. But it's good to hear from one of your own, a young person who took a step of faith and actually did something progressive with their life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
On Saturday, you had a seminar where you were motivating and coaching for free. What do you get out of those?
You know, one thing for me, I believe that no matter how blessed you become, you need to be a blessing. We're all blessed to be a blessing. Now, I love speaking, like I said, to various people. I speak at churches, I speak at schools, I speak in anywhere where I can go, at business forums, to really inspire people. Because remember, faith comes by hearing. So a lot of people will not do or act in anything until they hear something. And when they hear somebody's story, something inside them will really begin to boil up. And for me, I only started this business because I heard of other people locally. When I grew up, there were the likes of your Nigel Chanakiras, Trive Masiwas, Dr. Philip Chiangwa, Dr. Chandiwana, Dr. Eve Gadzigwa, so many people who have made it successfully in business. And those were role models as we grew up. And we always heard them on radio. I would personally go and hear wherever they were speaking business because I wanted to be inspired. And as a young kid, I remember I always used to say, one day, that's going to be me standing in front there. I didn't know I was going to be in business. But because I heard them continuously, something in me began to grow. And that's what's led me to now speaking to people. And, Saturday in Glenview 8 at AFM was amazing. It's so good to get feedback from people, how you've impacted. And it's always good that I meet people here and there who say, wow, I watched your video, and because of that, I started something. I watched my video, and now, you know what, I'm writing my goals. So it's always good to do something that benefits people. You can't put a monetary value on that. But somebody will never forget you because of what you inspired and deposited in them. And for me, that's the best fulfillment ever. If I speak to a lot of people and they hear my story, it gives me so much more fulfillment than actually money, because it's good to be remembered for impacting people's lives.
Exactly.
And that's actually what I really would want to do once I get that billionaire status, to go all over, to encourage children to not do what their parents want them to do, but to actually find your own purpose. Find yourself. Don't do things to please your parents. Don't do things to please your friends. Find what you love to do. When you love what you do, you will reach success. You will reach self-fulfillment quicker than doing what your parents, brother, your friend wants you to do. So self-identity is a crisis that our generation has. And I believe with my message, people will really begin to be bold. I took a huge step of faith. I went against family odds, and I went against a lot of friends. A lot of people tried to stop me doing this thing that I'm doing, but I went against the odd. And when you do what other people don't do, you'll get what other people don't have, which is the message I really would want people to know and understand.
So do you think parental expectations actually limit success?
I believe a lot of parents out there actually hinder their children's lives because they didn't accomplish certain things in their lives. And they think that pushing their children in a specific direction, such as education, in things that they fail to do is what's going to bring their kids success. If you look at Zimbabwe, for example, we have the highest literacy rate in Africa. We're the most educated people. We're also one of the most empowered countries in Africa, where the black people can actually start and own businesses compared to any other country in Africa. But you'll find a lot of us still have a mentality to work for people. And that alone begins with the mindset that the people have. But once you change your mindset to thinking that it's not only about you working for people, you can actually start your own thing. It's not about education alone. Because if you've got the highest literacy rate, guess what? We've got a lot of workers, but less people who are employing them. So already that's a crisis, I feel, that our country has, that the educational system may need to transform. Because it's not just about learning. In our parents' days, education was key. But if you look how quickly technology has changed, the things we learned in the first year of marketing graduates, there was no WhatsApp, there was no Facebook, Instagram, there was no digital media to market your products. And imagine if you learned that a long time ago, it definitely would not be practical today. So I honestly think parents should let their children follow their purpose. Don't waste hundreds of thousands of dollars wanting your child to be a doctor. Then they come back from America and they want to become a DJ. We've heard so many stories like that. So rather, let your children lead you on the decision-making path that they want to actually achieve. And I always recommend most children, most people when they leave A-level, when they want to go to university, go and study business administration everywhere I go, because that's a good foundation, because you don't really know what you want to do. But if you start with business admin, then you can venture off into whatever you want. If you want to be a doctor, you'll understand the basic principles of running your surgery. If you want to become a chef, you'll understand the basic principles. If you want to become a musician, an artist, whatever you want to do, you'll have the basic foundation of business administration, because it carries and touches a lot of aspects that have to do with life and business at large.
Okay. I'm going to ask you now about the school-run diaries. What motivated you to start those?
The school-run diaries, I had a lot of fun growing up with my dad, and he was taking me to school. Actually, it was my dad's birthday on the 23rd. and he
On
was
the 23rd
of February. Yeah,
Okay.
and we were actually celebrating him, and I was telling him, you know what you used to do with me when you used to take me to school? I now do it, but you know, we actually take a video and have a lot of fun with it. My dad used to tell me the most amazing stories. My dad is an amazing business person. He never owned a business. He worked 35 years of his life at the Harare City Council. But the lessons he used to teach me, the negotiation skills, the fun we had when he was going to school were the most amazing. So the School Run Diaries, we began, my kids always see me doing motivational videos at home or in the office. And then they're like, Dad, one day, I've got a word to say. Then I was like, really? Then we recorded a video the very first time. I mean, it's there on my Facebook platform, the very first time we did it. And from then on, we decided to call it School Run Diaries. So my kids now, daily, they actually look for a word for themselves that they want to motivate and inspire somebody. And it's amazing how much feedback it has gone internationally. A lot of people now actually inbox, why haven't you posted the School Run Diaries?
Really?
Because it's really something encouraging. At first we didn't see the impact until so many people recognized and could relate. Because early in the morning is when your mind is so alert to either positivity or negativity. So if you start your day positively, that will give you a big smile. And worse more when it's coming from young kids and they're telling you practical life lessons. And hearing it from a child, sometimes I watch them and I'm uplifted.
Okay.
It's amazing. We've been doing that for 2.5 years now. But it's been awesome and a great response.
All right, so you would agree with me then that we don't necessarily have to leave our kids to just figure themselves out on their own. There's some guidance that needs to be done, like what you're doing with the School Run Diaries.
Definitely. In Proverbs, it tells you, train up a child in the way they should go, and they will not depart from it. And with my kids, they love speaking positively. Even at school, they are very competitive. In whatever they do, they are very positive. You don't hear them telling you that I can't, or I'm not going to do this. They've got so much of a positive attitude that in everything they do, they believe they are champions, they believe they are winners, they've got affirmations that they do. So it's important. I believe parents play a very pivotal role in how their kid's character is. If you want to see a child's, their parents' character, if you look at their child, they'll tell you what they do at home.
Okay.
So yeah.
And what's your take on the phrase, drive the change you want to see? That's the phrase that we're trying to drive with this program. What is your take on that?
I believe if you want to see change in your life, nobody can do that except you. So you personally need to drive the change. Nobody can drive you because people are living their own lives. So it's an amazing phrase. I love it because you personally are the captain of your own ship. Nobody can stay. I can't push you to fulfill your purpose unless you're willing to. So you need to personally take hold of the steering wheel and drive towards the direction you want to go. If you want to be successful, if you want to be a billionaire, take hold of your vehicle, which is your life, and drive towards it without any limitation.
You started a successful company and you are employing people. What would you say to someone who's sitting at home and thinking that, you know what, the next person is going to provide an employment opportunity for them?
I believe there's so much opportunity in this country. Where there is a lot of turmoil anywhere in the world, there is a lot of massive opportunities. Okay. And one thing about people, there's no way a hungry person can just look at food and be fed. You have to do something. You can't wait for the government to employ and create jobs. You need to look at the current economy and see, wow, what can I do to add value to my life? Yes, I've got a PhD. Yes, I'm a graduate, but what can I do? If you look around in our country right now, there's so many things that you can provide a service or a product to.
Exactly.
So many. So instead of complaining, I believe complaining doesn't get you anywhere. Complaining doesn't solve the problem, but taking action towards something. I told you I worked in various industries until I found something I love to do. You may try and something may fail. It doesn't mean you stop. Okay. Even a child, when they grow up, they start by crawling. They'll make 1 or 2 steps, they'll fall down. But guess what? They don't stop there. Now we are walking and things are happening. We don't ever fall down. So a lot of things happen, but don't ever give up. You need to keep trying, don't give up. If you look at the billionaires and successful people in this country, around the world, they tried various things. But guess what? They didn't succeed in the first business.
Exactly.
They didn't succeed in the second. It was the third, fourth, fifth time. Some of them were rejected at the beginning, but they didn't give up. We've heard of musicians who've tried to sing and they were called a write-off at the beginning, but they knew something in them that they were destined to be. So it's not about waiting for people to employ you. And I think we need to get outside that mindset. Create value in something. If it means you farming at the back of your yard and selling, do that. If it means you going and getting a product here and selling it for a profit, do that, rather than waiting for somebody to supply your needs whilst you sit at home.
So how have you managed to cope with the economic situation in this country?
I believe a positive attitude is one of the most important things I've been able to maintain.
Okay.
Zimbabwe is a very diverse country where things can change at any time, but we've had a positive attitude towards the service that we provide to people. And you'll find that with our business, it's something that's not a luxury, it's something that people need, and people are going to need it day in, day out. So we've just had a positive attitude. We've never slowed down in our advertising and publicity, and that's what's kept us afloat.
Has the economy affected your business in any way?
Definitely. We could have been doing more sales in our business, but generally, I mean, things have been going not as fast as we would want them to. You know, for me, I think one of the really daunting tasks that was given to Pro Air and me personally is when we received an award for the top air conditioning company in Zimbabwe. And for me, this was, we received in 2015 and 2016. And this was a time where we had to up our game. And for me, I was really privileged. It was an honor for us to receive that. And that gave me a burden that now we cannot settle for being average. We have to become the best in our service delivery. So for me, it made us have to, you know, implement somebody who goes and supervises, make sure that our work is up to par. Because being given such an award is something that is a great achievement, but it puts a lot of pressure on you, especially being acknowledged as being the best. Whatever you can perceive in your mind and believe it and work hard towards it, definitely you will achieve it. A lot of people have dreams and they believe. They forget the working hard at something, but they think they'll achieve. There's no success that comes without working. There's no success that comes without you believing. You can dream, work hard, and achieve. But if you don't believe in it, you will not achieve what you want to achieve in life. So when I wrote that, I really try and encourage people that success is not what you see on Instagram, Facebook, when somebody's standing next to a car. There is a lot that is behind the scenes that people take for granted. For you to be doing this show, people think it's easy, but they don't understand the hard nights, the long hours, the, you know, extra things you've had to do to make this set work. And they think it's just simple and they can put a camera in front and shoot. Success differs in every person's mind. Success can be having good health. Success can be passing your exams. Success can be given an award for, you know, best whatever it is, whatever you're doing. But success is a self-realization of you having achieved something that you want to achieve. If I win a race, that can be success to me. So success is individual depending on the person we're relating to. It's not defined by society, but it's your personal definition. If I learn a new language today, I'm successful. Some people's success is financial freedom, having no debts in your life. That's success. So success is defined in so many things. But for me, I believe success is self-fulfillment, finding happiness in whatever you're doing. That's what I would believe personally success is.
So what is your opinion on people who then come up with a way of profiling people, and then they go like, these are the top 5 successful people? What are they really looking at?
I think it depends. They can say top 5 successful business people. Because success, remember, it's defined in many things. If you're a musician, it's different. If you're an artist, it's different. And I just think basically it's up to people's opinions. People always have different opinions. So society differs. I mean, you'll always hear in Zimbabwe there's the top 40 influential, and then you'll be like, but why isn't Ningi in? It's somebody's opinion.
Okay.
It's not everybody's opinion. So people will always have opinions, but you should never be defined by people's opinions about your life. You may be successful and somebody doesn't recognize you. It doesn't mean you're not a success. You are a success in your own right.
Yeah, because the reason why I'm asking about this is I think a lot of people view success from a societal perspective. So if people think George is successful, then what am I going to do as Gina to get to George's level?
Wow, okay. You know, I would say to somebody who is watching or out there, when we were born, I always say this, biologically speaking, you were born a winner. You were born a winner. When you were in your mother's womb, you won a race. And you are alive today because you're the one who won a race. A lot of people may be told so many negative things about people, by people, that, Gina, you will never make it in the TV industry. There's so many people, they're the likes of this, that, and that, you won't make it. But I believe it's not about people's opinions. You were born a winner. The word of God goes to say, before I formed you, I knew you. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and to give you a bright future and great things ahead of you. So it's not about what people say. I would say to anybody, believe in yourself, be positive. Stop making excuses, because excuses are the #1 killer of dreams and destiny. One of the greatest speakers ever said, the richest place on planet Earth is the graveyard, because a lot of people died and they didn't fulfill their dreams. But I would say, don't die full, die empty. Make sure you do all the things you're supposed to do. Make mistakes early when you're young. Make decisions for your own life. Don't do things to please your parents or your friends. And just keep on going and never give up.
Thank you for being here.